Okay, this is a demonstration of how to record chords using the BandLab app. It's typically a level 4 task. You start with MIDI instruments and choose a keyboard instrument or guitar. Once you've chosen your instrument, you want to set up your track so you've got the metronome. So on the top right, change your tempo to something a bit slower. You can always change the tempo later. Press count in and put it on so you get a 1-bar count in. And then finally at the bottom right, click on the metronome button so that you get the click. And then you can press play to check it's working. And there's your click. Right, click on the top left, the little squiggly thing to bring up your keyboard. Press the quantize the Q button on the top right. Make sure that is on. And then we're going to play a chord such as C, E and G. If it's a bit low, you can use the octave buttons to make it higher. And what this is now demonstrating is playing inversions. Because when we go to the F chord, our C is on the keys above, which can be a bit fiddly to play. So rather than playing the higher C, you can actually play a lower C, and it's still the same chord. So that was still an F chord. And that works for other chords such as G. And also for A minor. So there's my G chord with the inversion. And then A, C, E. The C and E can be lower than A. It's still an A chord. It's just an inversion of an A minor chord. So you play around and you decide on your 4 chords. And then once you've decided on your 4 chords, you can then hit record. And when you hit record, you want to have 4 beats per chord. So you get the 4-beat counting. Chord 1, 4. Chord 2. Chord 3. Chord 4. And that's done. Click stop. Press the little arrow next to the Q to minimize that. Then we can double click, or we can have a listen. Make sure you're happy. If you're not happy with anything, you can edit it. So I'm going to double click on the region to open it up in the MIDI editor, because I want my notes to be a bit longer. Or if you played the wrong note, you can drag that up and down to where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to stretch out my notes so they just hold down the nice and smooth legato. So I'm just going to stretch the ends, clicking on the ends and dragging them to make them longer so they last the whole bar. And then as we see here, the region has gone over bar 5, which will cause a problem when I try to loop it. So I'm going to close that by clicking the arrow on the top right. And I'm going to click on the end and drag that circle so it's exactly on the bar 5. So when we go back in, we can see now it ends exactly on the bar 5. So this chord progression can now be looped. And that is a level 4 chord progression.